was just writing in my day planner. Do you know what a day planner is? Well, it's a book that helps you stay organized. You can use it to make lists, you keep track of your schedule. Like, here's my to-do list, and I've already crossed some things off of it. I have a place for a grocery list, and I need to add pineapple to that because I love pineapple, and I don't want to forget it when I go to the grocery store. You can even keep track of your daily schedule. Let's see what's on mine for today. I only have one thing on my schedule today, and that's Kids of the Kingdom. And today's lesson is all about the story of how God created the earth. The story of creation can be found in the book of Genesis in chapters 1 and 2. Genesis is in the Old Testament and is the very first book of the Bible. The word Genesis actually means the beginning or the start of something. So it's no surprise that the very first verse of the Bible reads, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." According to the book of Genesis, the creation of the world took place over a period of 7 days or a week. God took his time, using each day as an opportunity to add something new to his masterpiece. And when he finished, he said it was good. So let's use our creative minds to imagine those 7 days. Let's imagine that God had a day planner of his own where he kept a list and schedule of all he planned to do in order to accomplish this amazing thing. Back then, the earth was, well, it was nothing really. Genesis tells us that the world had no real shape and it was empty. The Spirit of God hovered over the water, but everything was completely dark, and I mean pitch black. So what did God decide to do first? He said, "Let there be light." And it was like somebody flipped a switch or something. God thought this new light was good, so he separated it from the darkness. What do you think he called this light and darkness? If you said day and night, you got it right. Then on day 2, God looked in his day planner and saw that it was time to do something with the water. So he said, "Air." And suddenly, the air was there. And that airspace above the water became what we know as the sky. Now day 3 came, and I imagine that God looked at his planner and said, "Today is the day that I split up all of this water." So he commanded the water to gather in some places and added big dry patches in others. When he finished, he looked at those big dry patches and said, I want greenery to grow from the patches. And he made some seeds so it all could grow over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, he looked at his to-do list and checked off plants, trees, and flowers. On day 4, let's imagine God looking at his planner again. He sees that it's going to be a busy day. It was time to decorate the sky that he'd created back on day 2. Now I guess he could have picked some really lovely curtains like my mom would do whenever we moved into a new house, or he could have hung some really cool posters like I did in my bedroom. But instead, God chose lights. He said, "The world needs 2 really big lights. One super bright light for the day and a smaller, dimmer light for night. And then I want to add a bunch of tiny looking, but still kind of bright lights that will sparkle in the night." And at the end of the day, God checked off his to-do list, and he was happy with the newest parts of his creation: the sun, the moon, and the stars. Now God started day 5, and of course, he was ready to work. He looked at his planner, satisfied with all of the things he'd done so far. The land, the oceans, the trees, the stars, and all of it was good. But he still had more to do. He looked at the oceans and seas he'd made and decided it was time to fill them. So he said, "Let's bring some life into this water." And he said, "Let's do the same with the sky." And on day 5, God made animals for the sea and the sky. We recognize them today as fish, birds, and all kinds of other living things. God looked at his handy-dandy planner and saw that day 6 was going to be a big one. It was time to fill the dry land with life. He said, "I want all kinds of living creatures to live on this earth, and I want them to multiply, so each creature will be able to grow more of its own kind." What do you think these creatures were? Well, God made all kinds of land animals, big animals, small animals, some tall like giraffes and some short like mice. Some were wild like bears, and others were tame like puppies. But God wasn't quite finished with day 6 yet. He made another type of creature, but this one he decided to make in his own image. What amazing creation did God make this time? Humans. On day 6, God made people and gave them the very important job of taking care of everything else he'd already made. Humans were to feed and care for the animals and tend to the plants and help them grow. God was happy with day 6. He saw everything he'd made was good. Day 7 came and God looked at his planner again. Now what do you think God planned to make on this day? Well, on day 7, God decided to make, well, nothing. There were no tasks left on his to-do list, nothing on the schedule. God's creation was complete, so he decided to rest. Now this doesn't mean that day 7 was a vacation day. God wasn't planning to sleep in like we all love to do when we get a day off from work or school. Instead, God blessed day 7 and made it a holy day. He knew that one day we would follow his example. For those who love God, the 7th day of the week would become known as the Sabbath day, a holy day set aside just to worship God, our Creator. Now, of course, God didn't actually have his own day planner, but he did have a plan. He took his time creating the earth and used every day as a new opportunity to create something beautiful. So as you go throughout your week, don't forget to make time in your schedule for God.